This is a solar return reading for Gloria. Thank you so much for your interest in this reading. I think it's best for this type of reading to just share my screen so we can reference both charts. So the chart on the left is your solar return chart, and then the chart on the right should look familiar. That's your natal chart. I like to do it this way so we can just look at both and see what like the difference is in relation to this year in particular, but still keeping in mind that the blueprint to our path and ourselves and our experience in this lifetime is still going to be mainly the right one. We're looking at the year ahead on the left one. So I like to just have them both so we can remember that. And with that being said, happy solar return. You are one of the few people that actually have the solar return on their actual birth date this year. Your solar return is June 25th, and it's about 2:23 in the morning is when the sun moves back to Cancer at the exact degree it was when you were first born. So that's a little special in itself, but that's about one of the only things that are the same in this year going forward for you. The sun being the exact degree is the essence of the solar return chart. So that's what we need to be the same. But if you look around, a lot of other things have changed here. This year might feel like a brand new beginning for you. I say that because you are starting here on an Aries rising this year. So the energy that you have is going to be one of wanting new experiences, of taking off maybe on a path that is not familiar to you, that involves some type of courage or independence from what maybe you're comfortable with. The Aries symbol is one of the self. It is the identity of the individual, and it is less concerned about who's going with you on your journey. It is about who you are and what you need to experience. So right away, I see this energy shift in you from the the more responsible or structured energy of the Capricorn rising person to the more self-fulfilling energy of the Aries rising person. So that is just kind of the attitude of of your energy and your temperament this year. Maybe not just doing things that you need to do, doing things because you want to do them for yourself. So the similarities between the risings would be that they're both cardinal energies. So you still have that same taking initiative energy. It's just the frame of reference has shifted to more about yourself. So let's look now at the sun because that is really the most important part here. So where is the light shining on you for this next coming year? Um, for you, it is shining in your third house. So natally, it is in your seventh house, and this year's in your third house. The similarities here is that the seventh and the third are both air sign ruled houses. So you still have this desire to be about other people in a way that you need to be around people and be communicating ideas. But the seventh house sun people, they really find who they are through experiences with a partner. They feel like their partner really brings out their vitality. And that's not going to be the same energy for you this year. Your Aries rising energy and your third house sun are more about you knowing who you are and sharing your message of who you are to others. So relating to people coming from a place that you have a message to give other people. And you do that in your everyday affairs. The third house rules things that we do every day. It's our awareness level. It's not like the sixth house of what we do every day as far as a job and our routines. It's the third house of where we are and who we're mingling with every day. So I hope the difference there makes sense. So the third house would be more like going to the school to drop my kids off, going to the grocery store, getting the coffee at the same cafe I go to every day, walking my dog in my same neighborhood and seeing the same neighbors. That same awareness level of the here and now is the third house. And I make the difference here because natally you have a lot of sixth house energy. So you're used to the responsibilities and the service that you do every day, which is more of like a work and routine of being needed and useful. And this year, the third house is you're taking on this curiosity and this awareness of the actual fine tuning of what is around you and looking at it through new eyes of being like interested in it versus how you can be helpful in it. This isn't so much of a you building something for other people energy as it is you communicating and just wanting to experience it like through the eyes of a student learning about this magical life that is going on in your community, in yourself, through your neighbors every day. So it is the air mentality of being emotionally detached and wanting to intellectually grow this year. You want to understand more about your environment, of why people do things. I think of the third house and the Gemini energy in general of being of like the scientific method mind, having an idea, testing your theory, creating situations that you are involved in so you can gather data to see if you were right or wrong about your ideas. It's about getting out and doing and experiencing many different things so that you are collecting as much information as you can about this human experience of your everyday life. Where the sixth house would be more about you feeling like you have a job to do and you have a service to fulfill to people in your community. The third house just wants to understand as much as it can, just for the sake of learning about everything. So this might be a year for you where you want to switch things up. You want to go and go to a different coffee shop every day. You want to go to a different grocery store. You might want to try a whole different group of people that you associate with just for the sake of feeling things out and seeing like what that does for who you are and the different types of people that you could connect with. The air energy, the third house energy, foremost is about communication. It's not about learning through the outside or reading about something. It's about getting in there and learning where you fit and where you don't for the sake of this is something new and different. And now I know more about myself through this new experience. And you might feel extra social this year because of that energy. You might feel like you just have this more, I want to get out and do something. This is a yang energy house. So this is the people that aren't really theorizing, they're taking the action and doing it. And action is really a big theme for you this year. The contacts with the sun here, I feel like is saying that you want a bigger experience. You really want to feel alive this year. You have a perfect conjunction between the sun and Jupiter, and it's in the third house. So now this third house is expanding. Jupiter moves out and opens it up and makes it this bigger house wherever it is. When it joins with the sun, you have these two largest things in the solar system teaming up to be a new super energy. And when that happens, you can't help but be noticed. You are going to be this like shining light in this third house. So if you are going to be trying to do new things or go to new places for the sake of experiencing what else is out there in your community, you are going to get attention for it because with this super energy, you can't help but be noticed. And in the Jupiter light, it's a beneficial way. We always look to where Jupiter is in the solar return chart to see where you're going to have luck and you can take chances and where things just kind of work out for you. And this is suggesting that you are what you can take chances on. Your whole identity and who you are when you are expressing yourself through your words, through the way you communicate, is going to go well. People are going to see you as someone with generosity. They're going to think that you have a lot of enthusiasm for who you are, and you bring this sense of like joyfulness about you. And in the sign of Cancer, it's even heightened because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So that means that it is most open to showing its gifts of joyfulness and kindness and generosity in this sign. And it's conjunct your sun, which is, our ego, how we mostly identify. So this is like a really powerful year for you to be seen as somebody who fully of your own doing, of your own self, of not who you know or what you know or where you are or what your job is, just you, just your identity, how you portray yourself in this community. I say, because the third house can be like our community or our peers, can be our siblings, people that we generally interact with frequently. So, to all those people that you come in contact with, they're going to see you as like this bright light this year. So that means you have more sway with people. We want to use this as positive energy to build connections with people. If you have not talked to someone in a little while because the relationship got a little rusty or uncomfortable, this is a great year that you are going to be seeing through a light of optimism and benevolence. And if there was some relationship that had been strained, this would be a good year to reach out and fix that. Or if you are, a lot of times in our life, we go through periods of where we're less social because we had responsibilities to tend to. If that part has more time now, this would be a great year to make more friends, people who are with in this energy in this house really are good at expressing their truth and like their honest heart. In the sign of Cancer, you have this softness to you this year. You already have the Cancer sun because, of course, that is the solar return. But if you look at your third house and into the fourth house, it's like this Cancer superpower stellium, especially with Jupiter and the sun taking the lead on this. So people are going to see you as this person who's like supportive and kind. And of course, all signs have different sides of it. So sometimes the Cancer person can be reluctant to open up and get out there. I see all the Cancer energy, and a lot of times I think this person just wants to maybe not be noticed. Maybe they're kind of reserved or like they don't really love all like the spotlight on them. That's not their favorite place to be. But this is saying, no, it's in the third house. Like, this is how you initiate relationships with people because your softness is going to be really well received. And the more you're okay with letting people see the gentle side of you, like the silly side of you, Cancer energy has a really great sense of humor and a really great way to like disarm negative energy or like tense situations with their ability to help people just feel at ease and feel like they can be who they are around you. So when you show up like that to like new places or when you take the chance to meet new people or really show who you are by speaking, and you choose to make that connection, initiate that contact with somebody else, it's really going to go well. And you're going to feel really more aligned with yourself. And that's important because the Aries rising is asking you to focus on you. And all that Cancer energy sometimes doesn't want to take the risk of really being seen and vulnerable. But with the stellium in the third house, that's the communication house. So your Aries rising is saying, even if it's in a gentle way, you don't have to come in screaming about it. Look at me. But in your natural, soft way, this is a great year to build relationships with people and let people really hear who you are, and not it be tied into other things that identify you with whatever else is going on of your family or your job or your reputation. It's about maybe starting new and making a new um your new PR team is you. You're the one who makes relationships with people, and you have the whole solar system behind you on this saying, let people see you this year. Let people take you in and really get to know you. And you're going to find that it's well received and that your softness is a super power strength this year. The moon is also in this house. So that's where your heart is this year anyway. There is this softness to you. And I don't think it's a super stretch because you're already a Cancer sun. You already have a lot of Gemini energy natally. So, although natally you have the energy of like a worker, like somebody who learns fast, has some type of skill, and does the job well because you like to be useful and you have this deep sense of responsibility. That's what your chart, your natal chart says to me. But so this year, it's not that big of a jump because the third house is Gemini anyway. So you already move in that kind of speed. Your mind is already quick with things, making connections, taking in information. It's just saying, instead of using that for serving other people this year, your heart being in Cancer, the moon, this first degree, this is what we call a critical degree. So the moon is in a critical degree this year. So your heart, your feelings, what you need to feel emotionally secure matters this year. And it needs to feel like it's really being seen, your emotional side, because Cancer is naturally ruled by the moon. And when it comes in with this first degree, it's this initiation energy. And it's asking you to really let people like hear your emotions and your feelings. And that is not a huge jump. I think you already have the ability to communicate with all your natal Gemini. You already have the ability to be someone who can be soft with your Cancer sun. But it's asking you, let's do it even more. Like, let's take that risk and be a little bit more emotionally vulnerable to the people in our inner circles. Because do they actually know, like, how emotional we are? Like, how loving we can be, and how much in return we need to be loved emotionally? Because that's what the moon is saying. You have a lot of love to give, but people might already know that. It wants to be loved, it wants to be able to be like, really expressing emotions, holding nothing back, and letting someone like carry you, and with the same love that you give other people, can you let them do that for you? Can you let them emotionally see you and hold you? And in the best ways, right? Because the moon is changing and our emotions might really be changing this year. If the moon is in Cancer, you might be in for like a whirlwind of emotional tides. The moon controls the tides. When it controls our emotions too, you might be laughing one minute and then crying the next. And so the challenge here in the first degree is saying, are you willing to let people see that about you? Are you willing to be like the lunatic sometimes. Luna is the moon, and the joke about the Cancer moons is like feeling like a lunatic because the moods come in so fast and strong. And in the first degree, you might be caught off guard. If you're a natal, the Gemini moon, you don't really, you can usually rationalize through some of those, but you might not have time. Even your fast mind might be swept away in these emotions. And but in the third house, that's okay because you want to communicate that anyway. And I think there's a chance here that you might not be able to stop it. These floodgates of emotion might just pour through, and you might not be able to use that mercurial energy that you're used to having this year to control it. You might just have to let people see you cry, and you might have to let people give you too many hugs. You might have to be touchy-feely and not keep it all in your mind. And I think that Aries rising is really going to help you with that because they feel and they do, where your Capricorn rising has this like check system before the emotions go wild. I don't think the Aries rising is going to let you do that. So I think you're going to feel a lot. I think you're going to feel happy. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel silly. You're going to feel angry. You're going to want to fight. You're going to want to make love. You're going to be all in your feels. And you're going to do it around the public. Not like this isn't the top of your chart. The top of the chart is more like the public at large. But the third house is still a very social sign. So it's like your inner circles, your friends, peers, neighbors, siblings. Like I said before, the people that you see at the grocery store when you go, they're going to see you, hopefully, go through all of these emotions. And in this Jupiter Sun conjunction spotlight energy, it might happen like in front of people, or like people might hear about it, but in the best way. Like, wow, this girl is real. And if she can be so like authentic in her feelings, then I can do that too. And now I want to be her friend, or I want to get to know her more. I want to talk to her. She seems very interesting and real. And like she is somebody who gets me too. Like people can relate to you a lot this year. This is also a good energy for trying to like write feelings out and somehow communicating that. But it's not just for you to write in a journal and put it away. That's more of like a 12th house thing. Which you do have planets in the 12th house this year, but that's an outer planet energy. So for you, I feel like your thoughts and your expressions should be put out into communicating with other people because that's more the third house. That somebody is receiving that. Just like Gemini represents two people. It's the first time in the zodiac wheel, we start at Aries, the independent. Taurus is seeking shelter. Well, Gemini is the first time in the zodiac progression that you see the twins, the two people. Someone has an idea and someone receives it. So it's being willing to get outside of yourself and have a soundboard and get that feedback from other people. It's having a conversation. So we can't do that. We can't really have a conversation in a journal that we hide from the world. We've got to pick up the phone, and have somebody on the other end really having a conversation. So it's not just a one-sided thing. So this is a year of really being heard and hearing from others. So let's move on here to another important part of the solar return chart is when we think about the chart ruler this year. So you have natally a Saturn rulership, but in this year you have a Mars rulership. So there's a very different energy here. Saturn restricts, it respects authority, it wants to do something because that's the responsible decision to get us long term where we need to go. Saturn's slowly building something through self discipline and structure and time and persistence. And Mars is going to war right now because it is the survival mode. It needs to fight for what it wants at any cost. And it needs to do all energy, all hands on deck right now. It is our impulse, it is our drive, it is our sprints. It's not the marathon, it's how fast and how much can we do right now. So the whole energy to your chart is going to be more impulsive just by nature. You're going to feel like when you have an idea, a feeling, when your intuition is, making your stomach move, you need to do something. You're going to feel like you have this desire to act. And sometimes that is what we need. So this year, that is what you need. You need to get moving in the fifth house. That's where Mars is in your solar return chart. It's saying it's all about like this self-expression. So the third house is busy, saying you have something to talk about. The fifth house is saying you have something to express, to make, something to do, something to physically do. Virgo is the craft person, the one who's skillful with their hands. They have something that they can do, and Mars is asking you to do it in the fifth house. It's usually some sort of expression of who you are. It could be something of the arts. It can be something that you create as far as um, anything that your imagination can come up with. But it's something that when it's made, it is a reflection of who you are. And that is where your chart ruler for the year is sitting. So we have to take that into consideration here. And it's the first sign that I see in this talk that is an earth sign. So when I see an earth sign, that makes me think that there's actually a material manifestation of something. The earth signs are the builders, they actually create something in this world. So you think of like building things from the ground up, they are the carpenters, so to speak. So if they're here, they're wanting to bring something into life in this material world, like a structure. So I don't know if you're going to spend time doing some type of craft or anything like that, but Mars is more of, it's not so much about like the beauty and the artsiness that we see in Venus. It's about the the sweat and the energy and the drive and the competition. So in the fifth house, I could see you doing something that you're up against someone else. There's friendly competition maybe in the fifth house because that's a fun house to be in. And then Mars can be friendly competition, but it takes you to this place of wanting to win, to fight for something, be the best at something. Virgo really is detail oriented, and you have the energy to really get to the fine details of something to make it as perfect as you can get it. Virgo is very idealistic in seeing the perfect vision and working for it. So in the fifth house, we see that as something that is of your own making, of your own expression. And it is making a trine to your ascendant and your part of fortune this year. So if you're able to spend time on that and think about what's really driving your interest and where your energy wants to really focus on detail, you can come up with something that then in turn satisfies this Aries energy of doing something for yourself. So you really need to carve time out to be able to focus on something that you enjoy that really makes you feel alive and gets you excited and moving and doing. So this all of this information is coming out very action oriented, not a year to sit back and theorize about things. It's a very action, getting in there and getting to know yourself better through your experiences. The first quadrant of our charts are always about our personal development. So your first, second, and third house of this year having energy is you learn more about yourself this year through doing and letting yourself be who you are, being in your own energy and not so much concerned about doing things that other people expect of you. It's about learning who you are through new adventures. And your Venus is about, your money and your relationships for the year. That's always a fun one to talk about in the sign of Taurus. That's just wonderful. That is the domicile for Venus. So you can expect to feel financially comfortable in your security. Taurus is stable. It wants to feel like it has all of its material needs met. So when Venus is in this sign, this is a year that you can feel that. You should feel stable in your income. In the first house, you might even feel that you want to spend money or time working on your physical beauty. You might feel like this is a good year to get like that skincare routine down or to really book regular massages. This is a sensual energy where you're going to look at your physical self and really want to feel beautiful in your own persona of who you are and how you show up to the world. You might find that you're really interested in just like cosmetic beauty. Maybe you want to spend more time trying out different makeups. You might have a better or higher sense of like aesthetic intelligence. So you might find that like your wardrobe is styled a little differently. Maybe you're using different colors. Maybe your color palette for your makeup is trying different colors that really work well with you. It is a beauty in this energy in yourself. Taking the time to explore that would be a really good way to feel beautiful in your own skin this year. And it pays off because this is the sign that is beauty. Taurus, Venus is the beauty side of the Venus experience. So physical beauty might be important to you this year, and you might just feel like you are beautiful this year, and you actually can see that. Um, that's a really wonderful position for Venus to be in. And in the first house with the finances, it would say in Taurus, you could spend money on yourself. Maybe you need to buy new clothes. Maybe you need to spend money on that makeup that you've been eyeing, or maybe it's not like you to spend money on yourself. A Capricorn first house person natally probably is looking to provide before spend on themselves. And this year it's saying maybe you try something different. Maybe you find that when you put money into yourself, you feel better about yourself. And then in turn, other people feel good too, because when you feel good, you're able to help other people feel good. So that's something that this energy doesn't go to waste. It's actually benefiting everybody when you do that. And then you also have Uranus in the first house. The the changes here aren't super different than your natal, everything with these far outer planets are not super for the year are not super important for what's happening in the 365 days. So like Pluto and Neptune and Uranus for the solar return aren't going to make much of a difference unless they change completely to a critical degree, like I'm about to talk about something else. But the other ones, I feel like it's not, you might not feel these things take years and years to feel the effect of those themes. So they're not as important as the inner planets that move quickly, that they will be what's impacting your energy for this next year. So, with that being said, I did want to touch on Saturn because we have the Saturn energy in a first degree sign. So, we need to talk to make sure that we understand those critical degrees that is an impact. So, there's an initiation here. And in Aries, collectively, we're feeling it. There's a desire to act on things that matter to us about like the law and order of society, where sometimes we accept things and sometimes we want to see things new and we want to take action to defend our beliefs. So you might find that you are feeling this energy that a lot of the collective is feeling right now. I know we notice things going on with like protests and things like that. That is attributed to this energy. While you have a square going to your sun this year, so anything that's in a critical degree or really talking to your sun in a solar return is important. So it is worth mentioning that there is a tension between the authorities and who you feel like you are. So that can make you feel like restricted in all the ways you want to express yourself this year, because there might be some authority, either real or imagined, that you feel like is not wanting you to be this super energy that you want to be. That you're normal. This is just an example that maybe you're so responsible in your home life that you take on a lot of responsibilities, and maybe it's either yourself, your inner voice, or somebody else in the family who thinks that the energy that you're spending on your own self this year might be not good for the responsibilities of the household. This talks to me like some type of like mom guilt kind of energy when we spend time doing things for ourselves, when we feel like maybe I should be doing things around the house or giving that time to other members in my family. It's this tension between what you think is expected of you, like the laws, and who you are as a person. And so sometimes there is this challenge here because squares always challenge us to face that. Well, why do I feel that way? Is that real? Or am I somehow trying to limit myself that I don't need to do that? So there's going to be a time this year where you have to ask yourself that, am I being selfish or am I being unrealistic about all my responsibilities? Do I need to come to some type of compromise? I don't want to feel bad for taking care of myself. So I'm going to look at exactly why do I feel like that when I do it? Well, maybe I need to have a conversation with someone. The third house, we're having conversations. Is it a conversation with yourself about you're putting too much pressure on yourself? Do you feel unworthy of spending time on yourself? Is somebody saying that you need to be doing more for them or your situation and not spending time on yourself? Do you need to have that conversation of boundaries? Saturn likes to hold strong boundaries. And in the sign of Aries, we're going to feel that we need to stand up for these laws and orders or combat against them. There's not really a lot of room for just taking it in stride. We're going to face this year. The Aries ram actually rams into things when it feels challenged or threatened. So you can expect at some point you might have to ram into these old beliefs that are holding you back or current authorities that just don't align with who you are this year. And either one of those or both of those could happen. And that's good work for you because a square is a really good opportunity for personal growth. And like I mentioned, with your first quadrant being busy this year, that's what you're doing. You are taking action to have this leap of personal growth this year so that after this year, you know yourself a little bit more, who you are, and you kind of feel like this badass in a way with this Jupiter Sun conjunction this year. So there's just this feeling that I know it's going to be okay, that I know that what I'm doing is what I need to be doing. And I know that the universe is on my side about this. And I just have to trust that, even when it's uncomfortable, that that Jupiter energy is strong in you. So you really can do it, even if you feel like you can't, you can. And you can really learn about yourself this year and be excited about the person that you're becoming and the person that you are willing to share with other people. And then the relationships that either are healed or built, both Cancer energy here. Healing is very water heavy, healing old relationships. And then initiating Cancer is also a cardinal sign, initiating new relationships and this energy of authenticity, regardless of who's around, regardless of authorities or expectations that you or other people have set for yourself. You're learning that when you are authentically yourself, you have the right relationships, and that's what you really want, is to personally grow enough to see that and do that and act it and be it. So, take care of yourself this year because it looks like you might have a busy year being active, engaging in the moment, and really going for it. So I hope that is all good news for you. And I'll stop here because I feel like that's a good way to close. But let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer anything or go over anything in further detail. Thanks so much. Happy solar return to you.